shot of tequila before I say this. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if you know this, if you've been living under a rock or probably just don't know who I am. I'm engaged and sick in this episode. So bear with me. I've been with my now fiance, I love saying that, Jack, for 4 years. I'd love to say that it was a total surprise that it happened, but maybe possibly been a little bit hinting at it, asking if he still wants to marry me. And I know that sounds dramatic. If you're new here, I am dramatic. If you look in the dictionary, dramatic, it has a little subtitle underneath it written Courtney Stubbs. Welcome to Bite Hard. Hi. Context to all of the above. Before I get sidetracked, Jack and I have had 2 beautiful children. Our timeline is basically making rash decisions after accidentally falling pregnant twice. So although 4 years may seem short or a long time before getting engaged, however you want to look at it, I was always willing and excited to get engaged to Jack. To me, I think that it is a massive commitment that I've always dreamed of. Furthermore, dreamed of since I met Jack. You know, the happy ever after you dream of as a kid. I want to hear when, how, why, what happened. I'm going to pretend you all screamed, yes, as you reply back, oh my gosh, amazing. Well, since you really want to hear about it, I guess I'll tell you. Gosh, stop begging. I love telling this story. So let's start from the beginning. Basically, since I've been with Jack, I've always wanted to do a wine tour in Hunter Valley. I love wine. I love how beautiful it is down there. When I was pregnant with Paxton, he was born in October, I said to Jack that for my birthday, I wanted to go to Hunter Valley and do a wine tour with him. Not long after Paxton was born, I reminded Jack and he said, yep, I'll organize everything. Little did I know, it's the day of my birthday, the 4th of January, 2026. The whole family, Jack and I, the 2 kids, hop in the car en route to the Valley of Hunter. Whoop, whoop. On the way, I will add, Jack was frowning. This isn't abnormal, but he looked more stressed than I'd seen before. I do find out later why that was, but to bring you along on the journey, how I was experiencing it, completely unaware I was getting proposed to, we'll come back to it. Why he was stressed. It wasn't just because he was proposing either, if that's what you're thinking. So we arrive at the beautiful Airbnb where my parents met us, who flew in from the Gold Coast to take care of the kids so we could enjoy my birthday. They also knew about Jack's proposal, which is so wild because I seriously can't believe they didn't give it away. So we hand the kids over and run. I'm just joking. Mama and Dada had to get ready first. Put on our outfits, hair final touches, pack my tampons, because of course on the most important day of my life, your girl's bleeding. I will add, when I asked Jack about the planning leading up to today, he said we had to meet the driver at the Hunter Valley Centre. I was so confused and kept being like, babe, if we are getting a private tour and driver, he really should be picking us up so we don't have to drive. That's so weird, Jack says. I just got the cheapest option. Little did I know. It's a lot of that in this story. Back to current day. We jump in the car to go meet the driver at the pickup spot. The drive was so weird. We had no children screaming, both smiling ear to ear, proper giddy with excitement the first time away from both the kiddos. Jack's like, get the camera out. I'm like, okay, not even surprised. Not even suspicious because we naturally film our life to capture our memories as well as to share it with you all. So we pull up, Jack drives past the Hunter Valley Centre and towards the airport. He goes, plot twist. Me shook. Are you serious? Jack, yup. Me? Oh my gosh, babe. Continued by long, high-pitched white girl screaming. Both Jack and I have never been on a helicopter, so it was so cool to share this as our first time with each other. We were losing our helicopter virginities, if you will. The helicopter ride was so unreal. It was like a whole taxi service. It dropped us at one winery to then hop back on it and drop us to the next. So bloody cool. The views over Hunter Valley from a helicopter are so beautiful. I couldn't recommend this experience more highly. The first winery was Hanging Tree Wines, and we were greeted at the helicopter and escorted to our table, enjoying an incredible array of wines with an intermission to go dance to the live music, back to more wine, and the tipsiness begun. Our wine guide was so funny and quirky, just adding to the atmosphere perfectly. How great is that when you just click with someone, the continuous banter and bouncing off one another, laughing our heads off while the wine is quite literally going to our heads. Jack's like, okay, let's go to the next winery. I'm like, cool. We hop back on the helicopter, fly to the next winery, Bonvilla Estate. This winery was already sentimental. We had been a couple of years prior to work with them and had the most amazing day. We crushed grapes with our feet, had a picnic in the vines and lots of take-home wine. The staff and atmosphere so family orientated, warm and lovely. As we got off the helicopter, the pilot told me apparently not to walk up the hill, but to my right and not forward ahead of the helicopter. Did I hear him? No. Had the wine made me have selective hearing? Yes. Did I quite literally nearly get my head chopped off because the propellers were still going really fast, full blast? Yes. Thank God I survived. For fuck's sakes, Courtney, right? How's that for a turn of events? To Jack's proposal, greeted. I come off the helicopter, So when we hopped off the helicopter and I survived what could have been a very bad situation, we were greeted by our host, Jo, who had wine in her hands waiting for us. Like the service, unreal. A very happy Courtney to see a wine ready for her. As she walked us over to our beautiful picnic set up, she made some excuse that she needed her phone and left us. Might I add, the picnic was all a surprise. So the helicopter was a surprise, obviously. This picnic was a surprise. All I knew was we were doing a wine tour. And Jo was like, I have to get my phone, and left us. And I was like, okay, random. But I didn't really think anything of it. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. I was so blissfully unaware of what was about to happen, like completely. Looking back, what an obvious excuse to leave us. Why would she need her phone to be able to walk us down to a picnic area? Jack and I walked down, hand in hand, to the beautiful picnic set up under this ginormous, gorgeous tree. As I sit and get comfortable, Jack's like, hop up and help me pop the champagne. I'm like, why? Jack's like, come on, come help me. I'm like, babe, I don't think you need my help to open a champagne bottle. I'll literally be doing nothing. I felt like in that moment, if we had a live audience, they'd be screaming, just get up, right? So as I stand up and walk to Jack, it wasn't far, like that far, and, help open the most difficult bottle of champagne, apparently, Jack hops on one knee, going, grabs a soft jewelry case out of his camera bag and got out the ring. I'm like, are you serious? And he says, because I love you so much, I have seen you be the best mum. Me. Oh my gosh. Tears fogging up my eyes. Jack says, you're going to make me cry. Give me your hand. I loved every moment. And he realized he grabbed the wrong hand as I chucked my ring off the right hand, or the correct hand to put a wedding ring on, a proposal ring on. Oh, I'm getting all emotional thinking about this. Oh. Oh my God, I have tears in my eyes. He continues to say, I loved every moment with you, almost 4 years, not quite. We have had 2 beautiful children and I've watched you become the best mum in the whole world. So I'd like to ask you, will you marry me? I'm literally crying. I nod. I lean to Jack, hugging him. We're kissing, literally falling to the ground. I was in tears the whole time whilst giggling. Jack is so perfect. Even just thinking about this again, I'm literally emotional. I'm probably messing up my makeup. Jack says, I think you're supposed to grab the ring at some point because we're like on the floor. I'll insert the video. Just kissing, obviously, just in our own words. And Jack's like, come on, can we stand up? We stand up. Jack gets back down on one knee and puts the ring on my finger. More kissing, pure happiness. Did I say yes, yes, yes? I was just so caught up in the moment. And our beautiful friend Joe, who has filmed all our biggest moments, both announcement videos for both babies and now our engagement, so special. I was so over the moon to see Joe filming because the fussy girl I am, I said to Jack, in passing conversation of me nagging about getting proposed to, how perfect it would be if Joe was to film our proposal. Capturing us now after the proposal moment, just smiling, crying, laughing, and then, of course, high-pitched screaming like the white girl I am. Jack and I sat down and, of course, I said, tell me everything. How did you plan this all and keep it a secret from me? As he starts explaining, we get to the part where Jack now explains why he looked so stressed in the car. As we were driving to Hunter Valley with the kids, on my birthday, the day of, so earlier in the day, to what just happened, he receives a text from the helicopter company saying, and I quote, because he read me the text, so obviously you must hear it too. The text says, hey Jack, just looking at the forecast for this Arvo, looks like there are meant to be severe thunderstorms with hail and very strong winds. So there may be a chance that we cannot fly. I'll keep an eye out on the weather and keep you posted. Just wanted to give you the heads up. Cheers, Grayson. Jack's heart dropped. Instant thoughts of, but this must happen for the proposal to happen. Also, how would I even swap off to a normal driver for today when we are already 2 hours away and I'm in the car with Courtney, driving, can't even text? Luckily, I had to pee. Never has my weak bladder been a positive part of any story before. However, my bladder saved the day. Jack was able to call the helicopter guy, cut out the extra 40-minute scenic route, and we would just make it there before the storm hits. Jack apologized to me in that moment and was like, I'm so sorry. We couldn't do that part of the ride. It was between the wineries. I'm like, would there have been wine on the helicopter during the scenic part of the ride? He says, nope. I'm like, well, that's amazing. I would have just been thinking of my next glass of wine, location, and time. So it all went exactly to plan. The part I've never thought of when thinking of being proposed to was the conversation about finding out all of these details, when he got the ring, about the ring, the helicopter ride that was meant to be, could have never happened, Drew, our videographer, driving down and staying in the Hunter Valley to film it, how he kept it all from me, to then finding out that's why he was going downstairs to do the washing and he was taking so fucking long. Ari calling to confirm all the booking, to the reason why Jack wanted me to choose his outfit and approve it to dress how I liked him to look for the day. On top of when I was trying to put my outfits together, I tried on like 3 different outfits. And now that I've reflected on it, why he didn't like the first 2 and why I chose the one I chose, because it matched the occasion. The other 2 were like fun party dresses, but like, it's not just my birthday, right? It's my proposal day. To ask my parents for my hand in marriage, to making sure they came to visit on the dates of January to be there to celebrate with me after and take care of the kids so we could be alone for the proposal, to finding out he had originally planned to ask to marry me at the snow. That's when you guys reply, oh my gosh, what? right? Because that was my response to our first weekend on a trip together, falling in love weekend. The reason he wanted to propose to me at the snow was because the first weekend away we spent together where we fell in love, we went to Perisher, which is such a special place in our heart we go to. However, we'd planned this whole weekend to go away, right? I was pregnant. If you haven't listened to the past episodes, I was extremely unwell. In the morning we woke up, I was like, babe, I can't come. I feel so sick. I'm going to be absolutely miserable. To be honest, I just don't want to go. I don't want to see you skiing and having so much fun, and I just feel like crap. And when I was pregnant, I just wanted to stay at home. So, that's how I felt. I told him I wasn't going, and thank God. Because I always said to him, please don't propose to me when I'm pregnant. Because I just didn't want it. And I just didn't have good pregnancies. I wanted to be in a good headspace for when this happened, to be in the moment and enjoy it at the biggest capacity. But when he left that day, he was so extremely sad that I wasn't going. And I had no idea why it was, such a big deal. Obviously, to know now, right? Everything obviously happened as it was supposed to. I'm so glad he didn't propose to me when I was pregnant and he waited till I wasn't pregnant anymore, because pregnancy just wasn't enjoyable for me. And when he did it at the Hunter Valley at Bonvilla, it was just perfect. To finish off the proposal day, we got a big reminder that we are still parents. We got back to the Airbnb. I shouted to my parents as I walk in the door, I'm engaged. All overjoyed and excited. My mum handed over Paxton, who was crying. I handed him to Jack. Little man was beside himself and was ready for sleep. And then Jack was basically trapped in a bedroom with a screaming baby for the next 2 hours because Paxton just wouldn't settle. And if this sounds so wild, this was him as a baby from the get-go. Still now. I put Penelope to sleep, and not long after we met in bed, after both kids were eventually in their cots, too tired to really say much but smile, and we literally just went to sleep. Exhausted from the kids as per usual, bless them, but really reminded us the whole world doesn't stop moving when you have kids or a special moment. Overall, I'm so happy and in love with my incredible, thoughtful, and handsome fiancé. I felt so spoiled and adored from the whole day. Jack nailed it tenfold. I really believe that when someone chooses you, they should choose you loudly, like shout it from the rooftops kind of love, not just in the big, beautiful gestures, though I love those, but in the everyday stuff too. Showing up consistently in effort, in safety, and making you feel seen even on the most ordinary days. Love isn't meant to be quiet or confusing or something you must earn by shrinking yourself. When you find your person, things don't feel chaotic anymore. They make sense. You stop wondering if you're asking for too much, because with the right one, loving big and loving hard feels natural, not scary. All right, I think that's where I'll leave this one. Honestly, talking through all of that just made me feel so grateful for the chaos, the timing that didn't make sense, the love that grew anyways, and the life we've built in the middle of it all. If there's one thing I hope you take from this episode, it's that love doesn't have to look perfect or follow some neat timeline to be real. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's exhausting. But when it's right, it feels safe, it feels clear, it feels like home. Thank you so much for listening, for being here, and for letting me share such a special chapter of my life with you. I don't know if you noticed, but my voice doesn't sound normal. It sounds a lot sexier, but I do currently have a cold. I would have edited out, hopefully, all the sniffles and coughing, so hopefully you didn't really notice. So thank you for bearing with me if I just sound so sick. It really means so much to me that you're here. I really hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. I'll talk to you very soon. Until then, love big. Be gentle with yourself and trust that everything unfolds exactly how it's meant to. Bye.